and a very good afternoon to one and all present here. I hope I am audible.
So
Anyone
your
will just
voice is
confirm
very little bit low, sir.
whether I am audible now.
Yes, sir. Now
Yes,
it
sir.
is audible, sir.
Yes.
Now it is audible.
Okay. I don't know what's the problem, but there is some issue, technical issue. Anyway, what I'll do, if you allow me, I'll put my video off so that at least you can hear me properly. Whether you can hear me right now?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear
Yes,
me
sir.
now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, I'll start sharing as Ankit has said that the topic which has been assigned to me is basically research integrity, okay, and publication ethics. Okay, so this is one of the, we are all teachers, right? So R&D is one of the integral component of NEP 2020. Okay, and in next maybe 90 minutes, we'll be having a look at what is research, right? What research integrity is all about. Then we will just have a look at, you can say, the various theories of ethics and so on, right? And at the end, we'll just try to conclude with some aspects of the various organizations working in this direction for achieving that integrity and achieving all those ethics. Right. So with this brief introduction, I'll just share my slide to all of you. At least one of you have to confirm whether the slide is visible to you or not. Right. I hope it is visible. My screen is visible. Is it
Yes,
visible?
yes, sir.
Yes. Right. So this is what is there on the agenda, I should say. Let me organize it properly. Yeah. So there we are. That is, we will just have a look at what is academic integrity in research and what are the various publication ethics. Right. So this is what I have planned. That is, this is there on the agenda. That is overview of academic integrity. Okay, what academic integrity is all about. What is the need of academic integrity? And then what are the various, you can say, the uh, you can say duplicate publication, authorship and order, scientific misconduct, wherein we'll just have a look at what is plagiarism, fabrication or falsification. And at the end, we'll just have a look at what is COI or conflict of interest. And to conclude, we will see what are the various organizations which are working in this domain, right, for making all these things possible. Wherein we'll just have a look at COPE, YMA, ICMJ, and IEEE Code of Ethics, right? I could see that there are few participants from medical colleges as well, right? So they will appreciate all these because some of the discussion may be relevant to medical research as well, right? So the very first thing we need to understand is why do we write, right? So there are numerous reasons for writing, okay, and one of the important reason for writing is just conveying the information, right? So many times you have been assigned that, let's say if you are undergoing this course, it may happen that the course coordinator or HRDC may assign you some assignment and they may ask you to complete that assignment within the stipulated time. For that purpose, it is expected that you have to write, right? So many times we write for expressing our thoughts. That is, there are many people who used to write diaries, okay, at the end of the day, okay, for expressing their thoughts, right? Or for recording certain things, certain events. Okay. So maybe for completing an assignment, maybe publishing a work. Okay. Publishing a work basically is needed, particularly in science and technology and engineering, right? Wherein you disseminate your knowledge, whatever knowledge you have acquired while carrying out the research to the rest of the world. And that's why we publish. Okay. So publishing a work, again, one has to write. Then many times we write for fetching some grants from funding agencies like say DSTs or maybe say AICT and whatnot, right? So submitting for grants, again, we have to write. many times we write for becoming famous. Okay, this is applicable to maybe say you can say the literary world. Okay, wherein there are writers. Okay, for becoming famous they write. Okay, there are poets and all. Right. Many times we write for organizing our thoughts in a particular manner. Right. So this way, if you go about that is remember our thoughts, and probably the last and the but not the least is the maintaining the historical records. Okay, historian normally writes for maintaining the historical records. So these are the obvious reason why we are supposed to write. But to your surprise, you will be shocked when I was going through these things again. I was shocked to see that we don't have any formal course wherein we have been taught how to write. Right. This is very sad part. If you look at you can say the rest of the world or the developed nations curricula, you will find that for technical report writing, they have a separate subject wherein they have been taught that is how to write a technical paper or a technical summary or a technical report and so on. Right. But unfortunately, in our curriculum, we don't have any such sort of things. And that's why many times we commit mistakes, many times intentionally, many times unintentionally, and so on and so forth. Right. But writing is an art, as it has been said that many times that it is an art. Writing is an art. Right. So, but you have to acquire certain skills for writing. Okay. But many times there are some compulsions as well, okay, which force us to write. For example, those who are into teaching, okay, we have an instrument called as academic performance indicator or API score. Okay, wherein if you publish a paper you get 10 marks. Okay, if you attend a particular conference you get 5 marks and so on. And this is more or less applicable to I think in medicine as well. Nowadays they are having some the doctors or the professionals, they have to undergo various trainings, okay, for getting registration. Earlier the registration was for around 20 or 25 years. Now it has been reduced to 5 years, and 5 years again they have to acquire certain credits. For getting those credits they have to attend conferences, read papers, publish papers and whatnot. Right. So in short, we have been compelled to write many times. Right. We have been compelled to write, and when we write, okay, uh, as I said, that is there is no formal subject in our curricula for how to write and so on, right? But before going proceeding further, we need to understand, because if you look at the title of my talk, it is I'll be talking about what we call it as the academic integrity. Academic integrity is I don't know. We'll have some interaction in between. Uh, any one of you just respond. What is integrity? What do you feel? What is integrity in general?
It is honesty, sir.
Yes, very, very true, sir. May I know who is speaking?
Yeah, I am Dr. Kiran Godse, Professor of Dermatology from D.Y. Patil Hospital.
Great, sir. Great, sir. So that's why I said there are people from medical college or medicine discipline as well, right? So you have rightly said, sir, it is nothing but the honesty. But if you go a little further, okay, you will find that integrity is not merely honesty, but it is having certain other characteristics as well. It is the quality of being honest, okay, undoubtedly, and having strong moral principles that you refuse to change. Okay, strong moral principle that you refuse to change. What does this mean? It means that, let's say if you are working in an organization, okay, and those who are into government, I don't know how many of you are from government. In our confidential report or performance appraisal, normally there is a column of integrity, right? ते मराठी में याला म्हणतात आय थिंक
एकात्मता
yeah, right,
एकता
right. So why it is there? Character, integrity, why these things have been given so much of importance, that is it is there in your performance as well, performance appraisal as well. Because it shows your, you can say, honesty or truthfulness with regard to your organization. So how honest you are with regard to the organization, right? So there can be as example one can give, right? So integrity is nothing but the honesty, put it in simple or straightforward words. But why academic integrity is needed, right? So what is the need of academic integrity, right? So this slide will give you an, you can say, insight, okay, wherein I have quoted some 5 famous plagiarism cases in history, right? So this is international scenario, right? I'll not go into the details, but I'll read out few of them. If you look at the very first one, which was very controversial as well, and which has led to uh, very difficult situation for the president of United States of America, right? A speech made by Melania Trump versus Michelle Obama, right? She has been accused of plagiarism for a speech she made at the Republican National Convention 2016. Okay, look at the Harry Potter story once again, and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, right? Wherein the J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, has also been accused of plagiarism, right? The Lord of Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien, right? Richard Anger. Again, that is a big controversy. The game of Pong created by Atari versus Magnavox, and so on and so forth. Right. Now, if you critically look at my slide, you will find that most of the slides, you will find that I'm specifying the source at the bottom, right? So if you specify the source, you can very well come out of that flag kind of thing. That is the best part of it. Is that is, let's say, if you are taking some stuff from some particular source, if you cite it in your slide or the presentation itself, or maybe the text you are referring to, or the material you are creating for a particular talk, right? You can be very well out of this plagiarism, right? So these are the 5 international cases. I hope this must have given you this academic integrity is the need of the hour, right? Now let us have some example at national level. Okay, 5 famous plagiarism cases in India. 5 plagiarized article on Indian Foundation website. Okay, big names like M.J. Akbar, Nirmala Sitharaman, okay, Swapna Das Gupta and others. Okay, chemistry professor accused of plagiarizing more than 70 articles, right? Sri Venkateswara University, right? Kavya Vishwanathan was accused of plagiarism for her debut novel. Okay. Stanford University wrote to late President APJ Abdul Kalam about Professor Rajput's plagiarism. Okay. Plagiarism accusation against Dr. Gurunathan and his group. So once again, at the bottom, if you can see, the source is copyleaks.com, right? So if you do so, you can very well come out of this plagiarism and so on, right? So what has happened, we need to understand why this particular aspect has been given so much of importance. The reason is during 2007 to 2011, there is a drastic increase in the number of plagiarism cases in our country. Okay, and that has led to UGC think about it a little bit seriously, I should say, right? And that's why they have come up. That is how to deal with academic integrity. They have come up with certain documents and certain directions and notification and whatnot, right? We will have a look at various, you can say, the provisions under those notifications later on. But at least you just try to understand why this topic is important. Okay, I am not going into the controversies, right? Just whether the allegations made are correct or wrong or whatever, right? But these, you can say, these popular cases were there, right? And which has led to the need of having something on academic integrity, right? Something on academic integrity, right? So let us move little further. Okay, as you can see, there are 2 components of my talk. One is the academic integrity, and the second is research ethics, right? So we'll start with what is ethics, okay, and then we'll just have a look at what are the various theories, okay, behind those ethics and so on, right? And then gradually we'll move forward with the you can say the falsification of data and academic misconduct and whatnot, right? So let's have a look at what is ethics. We will just try to understand this with the help of a simple example. Let's say you are on a morning walk, okay, and if you found some money lying on the street, okay, you found some money. I'm not specifying the amount right now. I'll make it a little bit complex later on, right? So you are on a morning walk, okay, and roadside you found some money, okay, lying on the street. What you will do in that case? Again, this is open for discussion. So there are four possibilities which I have listed out here. Leave it as it is. Okay, pick it up and spend it. Okay. Third possibility is pick it up and give it to charity. And the fourth possibility is do something else. Now, I wish to hear from you which option you will pick up and why. Any one of you? I hope I am audible
Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
you
sir.
people are with me. The another drawback of this online is we don't know what the other persons are doing. Anyway, leave apart. What you will do? Which particular option you will select? Ma'am, I think some.
Myself, sir.
No?
Please.
Yes.
Yeah, I will choose the something else kind of things because I
Is
will
it?
try to first of all in first go I will try to find out whose money is this one. I will stay
Oh,
over
great.
there. If I have a time, leisure time in the early in the morning,
Great,
then only
great,
I will
great,
do all these things.
great.
If nothing else and I could not find any appropriate like the person whose money was fallen down over there, then I will pick the third option would be the appropriate answer.
Okay, pick it up and give it to charity.
Yes, later on at the finally.
Okay. Any other answer? Any other answer? Great, sir. Actually, that I have not intentionally, I have kept it, and you have touched upon that particular aspect. Something else is nothing but finding out who is the real owner of that money. Okay, there are ways and means. Okay, let's say if you don't have time, what you will do, you will deposit that money into some, you can say, the police station. Okay, and ask that you found this money at that particular place. If some legitimate owner comes to them, okay, they may hand over to them, right? So something else is your answer, I think. Yes. Any other answers? Anybody who will leave it as it is, or let's say you will pick it up and spend it. Second option is again there.
Sir, I think most of us will go with the pick it up and give it to charity.
Give it to charity. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Right. So why we are getting these kind of answers? The obvious reason is how you are grown up. Okay. What kind of you can say the environment in which you grew up. Right. That is one of the obvious reason. And basically, uh, to make it little bit complex, let's say if I mention the amount, I have not mentioned and nobody has asked me, sir, how much is the amount? Okay, I am specifically saying that money lying on this street. Okay, maybe 100 rupees note, 200 rupees notes. So I'll make it little bit complex. Let's say it is 1 crore in the bag full of, you can say 500 notes, 1 CR is there, or it is 100 rupees note, right? Whether you will go the same kind of options, whatever you said just now, or you will pick up the another one.
Sir, if it is a big amount, I think something else we will not.
Yes, something
Not
else, right?
Yes.
So what I intend to say is your answers are changing. Why it is so? Because it depends upon the circumstances, right? I'll make it more complex. Okay, let us reduce the amount of money. Let us make it 200 rupees note. Okay, we have 200 rupees note, right? So 200 rupees note, okay, lying on the street, and I will make it more complex. Let's say you are hungry since last 10 days. Okay, last 10 days, let's say you are hungry and you found 200 rupees note. What you will do in that case? And there are nearby restaurant, right, available.
No, I'll obviously buy food for myself then.
So, ma'am, see, I am saying last 10 days, you
I'm
have not
hungry. That's
taken,
what I don't
you are
have money to
hungry
buy
means,
food.
yes, yes.
So correct.
So,
So if I got 200 rupees now, I think the first
yeah,
thing that will come to my mind is to go to the restaurant and buy some food for myself.
exactly. There
Yes,
you are.
I
There
also
you are.
agree with you.
There you are.
Yeah.
There you are. Right, there you are. So that's why I was insisting. That is what. Now let's have a look in greater detail why we are getting these kind of answers and so on, right? So ethical behavior basically depends on many factors. The very first factor is the individual. Okay, most of the answers when I toss the very first question, individual meaning thereby when the environment in which you grew up. Okay, and that's why most of you come up with the answer that something else, or pick it up and give it to charity. The second is the circumstantial, right? You are hungry since last 10 days, you found 200 rupees note. What you will do, you'll pick it up, and instead of finding out who is the real owner, you will have your lunch or dinner or the breakfast, whatever is the time, right? So the circumstances force you, right? And then you realize at the end, maybe after taking your meal, then you realize that this money belongs to me, is wrong, and so on, whatever, right? Moral intensity with the situation. So these are the three important, I should say, the parameters which defines your ethical behavior, right? Which defines your ethical behavior. And based on that, I'm sorry if you please mute yourself, right? Those who are talking, they are requested to mute themselves, right? Sanjeev Dongre sir, right?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, please mute yourself, right? I'll give you an opportunity, don't worry. Okay, we'll have interaction. Okay, we'll definitely have interaction, right? So there are basically two theories based on which you can say the ethical behavior depends. The very first theory talks about what they call it as the absolutism, right? And the second theory is nothing but the theory of relativism, right? Absolutism and relativism. And based on that, you have two adjective, I should say. One is the dogmatic and the second one is the pragmatic, right? Now, what do we understand by dogmatic? Dogmatic people are the people who says that I am right and you are wrong. They feel that they are always right and the other person is always wrong, right? So, so being certain that you are right all the time, okay, okay, one set of moral rules and rules common to all, okay, rules unlikely to change, okay, dogmatic, and they believe that the absolute truth exists. Now, can you give me some example wherein you apply this absolutism theory? For example, I am a dogmatic person, let's say, right? So whether you will argue with me, I am calling myself as a dogmatic, right? Which is not true. But let's say if I am a dogmatic person, okay, having said all these things about absolutism, right? Whether you will argue with me. I hope you are with me. So arguing with a dogmatic person is simply useless, right? Because he will never accept your point of view. I am always right and you are always wrong. Okay, irrespective of whatever. So opposite opinions are 100% wrong, right? So arguing with a dogmatic person is useless. Okay, because what you will call dogmatic person as a closed mind person. Okay, and he enjoys the absolute authority. And that's why the theory calls it as absolutism. Right. Now, where you will apply this kind of thing? Where we apply rather in our day-to-day life, this absolutism theory? Can you give some example? Absolutism theory?
Sir, with our bosses.
Oh, great. But I am really happy to see this is what I practice. I am into government setup, right? And since last, Ankita has said that I have put in around 34, 35 years, odd years of service, right? 1990 to till date, I am into teaching only, right? So the best way of dealing with government, you can say, your bosses is, okay, if he is saying there is a day light and if he is saying that it is dark night outside, okay, you have to say, yes, sir. Right? Right. Don't argue. Because many times it happens, right? Because they will never ever accept your theory, right? So if you want to live peaceful life, don't argue with your boss. So dogmatic is, that's why I said that is arguing with a dogmatic person is useless, right? And they are all close-minded. paper. It's,
Submit.
people. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a little bit difference of opinion about my experience, personal experience. Why to, matlab, just a thought process to the audience and to you also. Ki why should we leave such of the persons? Because sometimes at a like a office premises and all. So if we don't argue, or we should not argue actually, basically. But if we don't tell to the difference of opinion to the opposite person, they will just shout, they will bark, and whatever they would like to say, and they will dominate again कि नहीं मैं जो कह रहा हूँ वही सही है. But in a realistic way, we should accept and we should not dirty our hands with them. That is a real and ideal answer. But what my submission is and a thought process is, if we do so always, then it becomes like in government organization, it comes to the pen and paper, like a government GR nikal jayega se कि नहीं, everybody was argued, everybody was agreed and nobody has opposed. That's what only it can be considered as a government.
It was on a lighter note, sir. Actually, normally, but I said that if you want to have peace of your mind, okay, it is said that you always say that your boss is always right, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So practically it is not possible. There is always, many times whenever I am there in the meeting, and many times I used to put my dissent on a particular aspect. I used to say, sir, this is what I feel personally, right? So you are having in your home as well, you are having, I don't know, most of you, maybe 100% of you are married, right?
We always at a like a the other side of the side, because wife is always a dominant person.
So if you want to have peace in your home, what do you do, sir?
Same.
Like you follow. Anyway, sir, what I intend to say is that is arguing with a dogmatic person is useless. And normally we apply this theory wherein we don't never ever question is the religious belief, if I am not wrong. There you don't question, okay, whether it is right or wrong. You believe it, you follow it as it is. Okay, most of the time. I'm not saying that there are people, okay, who again argue that how come this is possible and so on. But whenever it comes to religion, irrespective of whatever you believe in, right? Normally we follow it as it is. We never argue. We don't try to find out any justification for that, because we believe, we have a total belief that whatever we are following and whatever our religion is saying, it is true. It is 100% true. There is no scope of any ifs and buts, right? So that is absolutism. But those who are from, you can say, the science, technology, and whatever, we follow what we follow a theory of relativism, right? So wherein you have many possibilities, many acceptable set of rules. Okay, and rules can change over time. Let's say UGC has come up with regulation in 2018, and in 2024, now I'll share that story as well, right? 2024, they realized that all these publications are a big humbug. So don't ask for any publication for getting a PhD. Now they have excluded any kind of publication. I don't know whether you are aware. So rules can change over time, and pragmatic is nothing but practical approach. Okay, and there is no absolute truth. In reality, again, we don't have anything as absolute truth, I should say, except the Almighty, right? Wherein we all surrender, right? Wherein we all surrender, right? That is a different story. So absolutism is with regard to, you can say, the religion and so on, right? Whereas relativism is we believe that there has to be, let's say, my 200 rupees note, okay, you have picked up and you had your lunch, okay, because you were hungry since last 10 days, okay, and I came back to the same, वहीं पे मैं आया, अब देखा कि भाई आप खाना खा रहे हो, तो मैं I will accept, यार ठीक है, बंदा 10 दिन से भूखा था, खा लिया 200 रुपये में, I will not report the matter to the police, है ना, I will follow a relativism or a pragmatic approach कि well, भाई, it is justified, correct? I hope you are getting what I am trying to convey, right? So there is no truth, there is no absolute truth, I should say, and pragmatic is nothing but practical, right? Pragmatic is nothing but practical. So wherein you have various aspects, that is dealing with things sensibly and realistically, right? Sensibly and realistically. You can put this pragmatic approach in single line as dealing with things sensibly and realistically, right? So you apply your senses, you find out the ground realities over there, and you think in a realistic manner. and that's why you accept it. So it is a practical advice. Okay, it is not dreamy kind of thing, right? Wherein the absolutism, again, you have many things you can't imagine, right? So there is no shape to God and all, whatever, right? So you believe, right? You believe because you follow absolutism theory, and there is a dogmatic approach. And whatever has been written, say 1400 years back, okay, you feel that it is correct. It is 100% correct because that is your belief, right? That is absolutism. So based on these two theories, okay, we have, you can say, the theory of ethics, right? But let's come back to our original topic. That is, we are trying to understand, that is, why do ethical issues arise in publication, right? Let's say you are carrying out research, maybe in medicine or maybe in technology or science or whatever, right? So we have all these issues. These issues are growing day by day, right? So there are reasons to it. What are the reasons? The reasons are very obvious. That is, journals exist to enhance the scientific database, okay, because it is a business model ultimately. Enhance seniority and promotion. Let's say you are associate professor. If you want to be a professor, you have to have 4 SCI publication, 2 research scholar guided, 4 SCI publication to your credit during the assessment period, and so on. So there is a criteria, right? So, and that's why we are compelled to write, right? Okay. And the other reasons are publishers' profit. The naturally publishers are owned by nothing but certain companies. They are running it as an enterprise. So it is ultimately the company's profit. And these things basically led to what we call it as the ethical issues, right? Now, let's go back to the academic integrity part, right? Uh, in general, I have already defined what is academic integrity is all about. That is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles that you refuse to change. Okay, even if your boss is saying that you do it in this way, you will say, no, sir, I am not convinced. Ethically, it is wrong. I will go in my own way. You do whatever you want, right? So academic integrity, which has been defined by UGC, okay, why they realized that there is a need of defining academic integrity is because of all those reasons, whatever we have seen just now, right? So they have come up with a beautiful document. Okay, it is a notification, okay, dated 23rd July 2018, wherein they have categorically defined academic integrity as it is the intellectual honesty. Now they have added honesty is very general when we are talking about integrity. Now, since it is academic, it is intellectual honesty in proposing, performing, and reporting any activity which leads to the creation of intellectual property. Now, what do we understand by intellectual property? Intellectual property, you have patents, you have copyrights, right? And so on and so forth, right? Design patent and so on and so forth, right? So it is the intellectual honesty. That is, you are not borrowing an idea from some other sources, or you are not borrowing the content or copy and pasting the content from one particular paper and putting it in your own paper. So it is proposing, performing, and reporting. Let's say you are not manipulating the result. Right? When it comes to reporting, how you will report? You will report by means of publication once again. Okay, which leads to the creation of intellectual property. Right. And I hope this is clear to you, right? Having said that, now why do we compromise integrity? Again, there are reasons to it. Okay, the very first reason is either you publish or perish. Okay, whenever you apply for a job, teaching job in particular, they ask you your Google profile, or you can say Orchid ID or Scoopers ID, and then they entertain you, right? So either you publish or perish. Okay, linked with promotion, selection, and appointment. Okay, becoming famous in a particular domain. And there are few countries like China, wherein when you publish some quality paper, the government give you some grant, what is called as a monetary reward, right? Okay, if you publish, and that's why you will find that there are a lot of Chinese, okay, irrespective of the domain. Okay, you will find that there are a lot of Chinese in, you can say, research and development, right? So because they are getting, maybe it is a bread and butter for them, right? Few of them, okay, they are getting money, okay, and that's why they are writing, they are carrying out research, reporting it, and getting it published in reputed journals and so on, right? So these are the reasons, why we compromise the integrity, academic integrity more specific, right? Now, what are the various, you can say the uh, issues here? Okay, the very first issue is called as the duplicate publication. Okay, that is republishing the same finding again and again. Why? Because we are after numbers. Okay, every year I have to have maybe 2 or 3, 4 paper. Okay, okay, there are compulsions from the authorities, that is you must publish. Okay, you are involved into a lot of administrative activities, but forget about all those things. You have to have 2 publications, right, in a year, in an academic year. Okay, so what the person will do, he is not finding time to carry out research. What he will do, whatever he has already carried out, he will refurbish it. Okay, and try to publish the same thing again and again. Okay, that comes under duplicate publication. Submitting the same manuscript to 2 or more journal articles, right? That is again duplicate publication, and that's why specifically most of the reputed journal, they ask you whether the same content or whatever stuff you are going to submit to them, whether it is consideration in some other journal or conference, yes or no. Okay, so submitting the same manuscript to 2 or more journals at once. Okay, that is again, that comes under duplicate publication. Dividing one research paper into many little paper, what is called as the salami slicing. In one paper, you are putting up the block schematic or the mechanism you have adopted for carrying out the research. Second paper, you are putting up, you can say, the result analysis. And third paper, you are putting something else. Okay. But the idea remains same. What I mean to say is the idea is only one, but you are trying to cache it for multiple number of times. Okay. By manipulating it in such a way that is, in one case, you are putting it as a short paper, another paper you are putting it as a result and evaluation, something like that. And that's why we have these kind of titles in the paper itself, that is result and evaluation of so and so, right, or whatnot, right? So that is called as slimy slicing, and that again comes under duplicate publication. So this is again offense, I should say, right? What is authorship? The second important aspect is authorship. Now, again, that's why the UGC has categorically defined who is the author, right? Again, the same notification I am talking about. So author includes a student or a faculty or a researcher or a staff of higher educational institution who claims to be the creator of the work under consideration. Okay. So it is not merely the student, it is not merely the faculty, it may be a researcher or even a laboratory assistant or maybe a technical assistant helping you out in carrying out the research. Okay, all of them, they can claim to be an author. But what is the condition for that? For becoming an author, the obvious condition is substantial contribution to the conception and design of a paper or acquisition of data or analysis and interpretation of it. So if you are contributing either of these, you can say, ways, then and then you can claim to be author. But in reality, it never happens, right? Many times you are working under someone, so your boss may say, you put my name at the end, maybe 5th position, doesn't matter, but you put it somewhere. So some influential persons, okay, they put their name irrespective of whether they are contributing actively or not. Okay, and just because you are under them, okay, you have to obey their orders, right? So substantial contribution, even though they are not. So drafting article or revising it critical. This is the another area wherein you are contributing either in drafting the article or maybe revising it, proofreading it critically for important intellectual content and final approval of the version to be published. Okay, that again comes under authorship. So if you satisfy these criteria, that is the second and third line, right? You can claim to be an author, right? Okay, and once you claim to be an author, the authorship comes with certain responsibilities. What are those responsibilities? Let's say my student has put up my name as the third or the fourth author, whatever may be the order. Okay, and later on, let's say if the student has been penalized by the publication house for plagiarism, I will be equally responsible for it. So later on, I cannot deny that, well, I am not the author. And that's why what do they do most of the time? They will fire you an email that you have been listed as an author for so and so article submitted by Mr. So and so or Miss so and so, right? So if you have any issues, you can report it there itself. If you say that, well, I am not contributing in any way, you please don't put my name as the author, something like that, they will remove your name. But if you keep mum, meaning thereby you are claiming yourself to be an author. So whatever credits you are getting for the publication, at the same time, let's say if you are getting some, you can say punishment for the wrongdoing, okay, you will be equally responsible. So at a later stage, you cannot deny, well, I am not the author, he or she has not taken my permission for submitting the paper, or I haven't gone through it, or whatever, right? So it is there, right? So it comes with a responsibility, that's why I said, right? So authorship is, when it comes to authorship, the authorship order is again important. So discuss the order of the authorship at the beginning. Let's say your researcher is carrying out the research, so he or she should be the first author of the paper. Okay, you are being a supervisor, your name can be at second or third position. If some co-supervisor is there, he or she may enjoy third position and so on. Revise decision on authorship during the write-up process. That is again possible. Most of the, you can say the publisher, they allow, okay, they allow if you have some substantial ground, and if they are convinced with your say, all authors take responsibility for the content in the manuscript. Okay, it doesn't matter you whether you are the 10th author of the paper. Okay, you enjoy equal credit, right? Credit or discredit, I should say. So disclose if any third party is involved in the writing. Now, this is happening nowadays. Let's say English is not a, you can say it is a foreign language for us. Okay, so we may seek, it is legally allowed. We may seek assistance for maybe grammars nowadays, but those things are nowadays, right, are automated, I should say. Okay, you have powerful AI tools, okay, which helps you. Grammarly is there and ChatGPT is there. Okay, you provide the stuff, it will write down the entire paper for you, right? So if you are taking help, right? If you are taking help of some third party, of there are consultant again, okay, I should not say, but it is there, it is very much there, it is the reality, right? So if you are taking their help, it is better to acknowledge it. Okay, in the paper itself, you yourself disclose, well, I have taken help for maybe preparing the manuscript, or maybe the formatting, or maybe you can say the grammatical assistance or something like that, right? So disclose it if any third party is involved in the writing, professional writers or consulting firms, right? Scientific misconduct. Let us move ahead a little further. So I hope that the two aspects are clear to you. That is what we have seen. One is the duplicate publication. Second is the authorship. Who can claim to be an author? What should be the authorship order? Let us move further with regard to scientific misconduct. So scientific misconduct, there are broadly two categories, I should say. One is the fabrication and the second one is the falsification. Fabrication means making up data. Many times I used to say that cooking up data, right? Or result and reporting them, right? So normally what we do, we take 2, 3 papers, we cook them up, okay, and report our result. Okay, it happens. Okay, maybe at UG level, or maybe at you can say even the PG level. Okay, things happen like that. Okay, that comes under fabrication, which is highly dangerous, I should say, and there is no you can say excuse for that, right? Falsification, manipulating research material, equipment or processes, or changing or omitting data or results with the intent to change the outcome, right? So you want to change the result, okay, and for that you are manipulating your research material, maybe the equipment or the processes, or you are intentionally omitting certain results. Let's say you are working on a problem wherein the performance matrix is comprised of 5 parameters. So out of 5 parameters, what is happening is, with your approach, you are getting delta plus in 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 are deteriorating. But while reporting in the paper, what do you do? Rather, what most of the people do is they report only these 3 and they simply skip the rest of it. as a matter of fact, there is no research wherein you will always have a win-win like kind of situation, right? So you have to report the entire performance matrix and you have to categorically say, well, these three parameters I am getting a better result, but these two parameters are deteriorating, something like that. So if you do not do so, again, you are involved in what they call it as the falsification, right? So scientific misconduct, the third important aspect is which is very popular, right? And what they call it is the plagiarism, right? What is plagiarism? Again, we'll have a look at this plagiarism in greater detail. Okay, what are the various types of plagiarism and so on. And we'll just try to understand that is how to come out of what is the solution for, you can say, removing plagiarism and so on. So when somebody represents work of another person's ideas, processes, results, or words. Okay, the last one is very common. Most of the people, those who are new into research, they copy and paste, right? So those days are gone now because the tools are so powerful. The moment you put in a flag tool, okay, it will simply specify the source from where you have got this particular stuff. Okay, copied this particular stuff and so on. So word is very common, but it is not merely word. It is stealing somebody's idea or process or result or words as if they were his oblique her own without proper acknowledgement. Now, this without proper acknowledgement, we must underline, right? If you acknowledge it, even if you copy it, let's say you wish that a particular definition or a particular concept, okay, which has been defined or written by XYZ author, there is no other way of explaining that concept. Okay, what you can do, you can copy it as it is, but the only thing you need to do is you need to acknowledge it. Now, how do we acknowledge? You have to put in square bracket, okay, the number of that particular paper or article, and in reference section, you have to cite that. So if you cite it, you can very well, uh, and let's say if you are exactly copying it, and if the length of the is more than 4 consecutive words, then you must put it in double quotation mark, right? If you do so, there is no plagiarism as such. It will not be considered as a plagiarized content, okay? And let's say if you are copying the entire stuff, but in that case, you need to seek prior permission with the author or the publisher, whosoever is enjoying the copyrights. It is not all the time the author will enjoy the copyright, because most of the time when we uh, want to publish our article, we rather transfer our rights to the publisher, right? So in that case, naturally you have to contact the publisher as well, right? It is not merely author, because most of the time the authors are not having the copyrights, right? So plagiarism is a serious business, right? Now there are 4 distinct types of plagiarism, okay, based on the definition. Okay, the very first one is ideas. That is, plagiarism of ideas occurs when one fails to acknowledge the origin of a thought, idea, or invention and claims the idea as one's. What I'll do, from one particular paper, I have taken up the idea, so I'll not put that paper in the reference section. Except that paper, I'll put any other stuff. Okay. So I am misleading the reader to read something else because I intend to claim that the idea is my original, whereas the idea is not original, it is copied, right? It is taken up from some source, right? Sources. Plagiarism of sources occurs when one does not attribute the correct sources for a piece of writing or an argument. है ना? तो मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? Sources मैं hide कर रहा हूँ, right? I am hiding the sources, which is again, it comes under again plagiarism, right? I am copying it from one particular source, whereas in you can say the reference section, I am putting up some other stuff, right? Authorship. Plagiarism of authorship occurs when one claims authorship on entire work without actually fulfilling the criteria for authorship. What is the criteria for authorship? You must contribute substantially, okay? You must contribute, you can say, actively in the content or the you can say the intellectual material which has been generated. Okay, if you are not satisfying that criteria, you cannot claim to be an author of a particular article, I should say, right? Then words, very common, that is verbatim or word for word plagiarism occurs when one copies or uses portion of text written by another without clearly demonstrating appropriate quotation and citations. Appropriate quotation that I have already talked about. That is, if you want to copy it as it is, put it in double quotation marks and cite it in the reference section and citation standards. So there are standards, right? You have to follow it. So if you follow this, you can very well come out of this plagiarism kind of misconduct, right? Now there is one more thing which is coming up nowadays is what they call it as the self-plagiarism, right? Before I proceed further, I'll take a break for 1 or 2 minutes. I hope all of you are with me. What's your strength is around 64. 64 participants are there, right? So self-plagiarism, have you encountered this kind of thing in your research activity?
Sir, this is
Huh.
self-plagiarism is common, but nowadays more deadlier than this is a chat GPT assisted article written
Correct.
and given to the editor of the journal, which are very
Correct. Very
difficult to differentiate whether they're chat
Very,
GPT oriented, AI oriented, or
very,
self-written.
very true, sir. Very true, sir. Right, that
So
is
any
happening.
focus, any guidelines for that, sir?
Actually, the government has to come up. Okay, I don't know whether you are aware. The use of AI, up to what extent it should be allowed? That is the billion-dollar question, I should say. Right? Even some of the, you can say the publishers, they are allowing, okay, but they are allowing up to some extent. And that extent is merely checking grammars. Okay. Okay. Say, for example, if you go for, we will later on discuss while we will discussing this COPE and ACMJ and the other organizations which are working in this domain for safeguarding the author's interest and so on, right? So there are tools and there is a threat to everybody's job, right? So AI tools are so powerful that is for Chat GPT, as you have rightly said, if you provide some stuff, okay, in some crude form, it will convert that stuff into a full-fledged paper. Okay, but how to uh, identify it is again very challenging, I should say, right? Very challenging. Why? Because and that's why the you can say the UGC and the AICT or maybe the you can say your MCI, that is Medical Council of India, they must come up with some guidelines that is up to what extent the use of AI should be allowed. So there are many ethical issues when it comes to use of AI or for intellectual property particularly, right? So that is a different domain, but these issues are cropping up, right? Right. So, but let us move little further. Okay, we will have, sir, at the end we will have some light on that, right?
Sir, I have
How
one
to deal.
question.
Yes, sir.
Like plagiarism, we have the softwares.
Yes.
Like for a chat GPT, do we have some softwares to check whether it is done work from chat GPT or not?
So actually, that's why I said, कि भाई, these are all large language model, what they call it as the LLM model. Okay. And the technology is evolving. That is, they are learning every second, I should say. All these models, they are learning every second. So it is very difficult to keep track of, and that's why I said it is challenging, right? It is very challenging to find out. But when you look at these, let's say I am facing this problem in my institution as well. The student who are not able to speak a single statement correctly in English, when it comes to writing mail, okay, they write in such a way that you feel that he is writing, he is a professional, right? So many times while reading the stuff, okay, you can very well understand, but there are no tools, I should say. The tools other way rounds are there. That is for writing papers and so on. But that is how to restrict it is again very challenging. Very challenging.
Okay.
Because these large language models or chat GPT kind of thing, they are learning, as I said, every second. So they are growing. They are becoming human beings. Okay, with a jet speed, I should say, because you are human beings. You can say the power is there, but there is fatigue and all. हम थकते हैं, हम सोते हैं 8 घंटे, है ना? ये चीजें सोती नहीं है. अब आप बोलेंगे आप सर 24 घंटे हर सेकंड आपने कहा कि सर हर सेकंड सीख रहे हैं, तो ये जितने सोर्सेस हैं अपने, आप जहां जहां से डेटा दे रहे हैं सिस्टम, ठीक है ना, इंटरनेट में आप जहां जहां पे लॉग्ड इन हो, जहां जहां सोशल मीडिया पे लॉग्ड इन हो, ये सब डेटा इनको एलएलएम को मिलता है. और दे एलएलएम दे लर्न ऑन देयर ओन, दे आर सेल्फ लर्नर्स, है ना? तो अब इनका अब डेटाबेस कितना स्ट्रांग रहेगा आप सोचिए. ठीक है ना? तो जो ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है एक अपने लिए. लेकिन इसके लिए एज आई सेड the only way is to deal with this kind of thing is that is up to what extent the use of AI should be allowed. Okay, the government must come up with I should say a white paper in this regard. Government must take up this particular issue very seriously, because there is threat to everybody's job. Okay, not only I should say teaching or whatever, right? So even medical domain is again having a lot of challenges, right? Because there are most of the surgeries nowadays, they are taking place with robotics and all, right? So there is hardly any human intervention. Okay, maybe it has been reduced from earlier it was 100%. We used to call this surgeon is very perfect. Those days are gone, right? So this is happening, but we need to, you can say, restrict it up to some extent, right? So let's move a little further, okay, because we are deviating. I think that is altogether different area, but the challenges are there, right? With this note, we will move further on what is the today's topic, right? So it is a type of plagiarism, self-plagiarism, in which the writer republishes a work in its entirety or reuses portion of previously written text while authoring a new work. It includes republishing the same paper, पब्लिशिंग अ स्मॉलर एन्क्रिप्टेड पेपर फ्रॉम अ लॉन्गर एंड प्रीवियसली. एक आधा आपने लॉन्ग पेपर बनाया, उसमें से कुछ 2 पेज निकाले, छोटा सा एक शॉर्ट पेपर बना दिया. रीयूजिंग डेटा ऑलरेडी यूज्ड इन अ पब्लिश्ड वर्क और कम्युनिकेटेड फॉर पब्लिकेशन इन अनदर वर्क विदाउट ड्यू एंड फुल साइटेशन. अब ये होता क्या है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल UGC has mandated that you must have 2 conference publication and 1 Scopus journal publication, okay, before submitting your thesis, PhD thesis in particular. Okay, when you publish and then you write down your thesis, definitely some stuff is bound to be repeated. Okay, because it is your idea will remain same, the stuff whatever you have reported will remain same, right? Maybe the result little bit extensive, but some of the sample results will remain same and so on, right? So this will lead to this self-plagiarism issue. That's why I said this self-plagiarism, and when your thesis goes for evaluation to the referee, he or she may accept or reject it. Okay, it all depends, right? That's why I said, okay, it is debatable. Self-plagiarism is debatable because some people feel that it is not plagiarism, but some people feel that it is plagiarism because you have already got credit once you have published the paper. Now, for getting the PhD thesis, you must write some different stuff, or at least write it differently. Okay, maybe you have to paraphrase it or whatever, right? So there are again tools available for doing all those things. We'll not go into those details, but this is one of the major issue which is coming across in you can say the publication ethics and so on, right? So breaking up a longer or larger study into smaller sections. Okay, paraphrasing one's own previously published work without due and full citation of the original. Let's say I am writing paper which is based on my earlier 2 paper. Then I need to cite those paper in my you can say reference section, even though they belong to me only, right? Even though I am the author, right? So this happens, right? This happens, right? And the only way is to come out is to cite it properly, right? Is to cite it properly, right? One more plagiarism is there. One more category of plagiarism is there. What they call it as the intentional and unintentional plagiarism. So what is unintentional plagiarism? Paraphrasing poorly. That is the changing the sentence structure, but not the words, or changing few words without changing the structure. Okay? That is unintentional plagiarism. Then quoting poorly. Putting quotation marks around a passage that is partly paraphrased and partly quoted. Okay, that is again unintentional plagiarism. citing poorly, omitting an occasional citation, or citing inaccurately. That is unintentional plagiarism. So these three categories are there, wherein you can claim that it is unintentional plagiarism. And there are very, you can say, nominal penalties for that. Right? Intentional plagiarism, this is dangerous, highly dangerous, I should say. Passing off as one's own pre-written papers from the internet or other sources. Okay, this happens, right? This happens many times, right? Copying an essay from the internet, online sources, or electronic database without quoting or giving credit. Cutting and pasting from more than one sources to create paper without quoting or giving credit, and so on. So this is intentional plagiarism, and there is penalty for that, right? What is excluded from plagiarism? One should know that is all quoted work, as I said, if you put it in double quotation marks, okay, reproduce with all necessary permission and or attribution. Okay, so you need to seek the permission. Let's say you are copying a diagram or a photograph as it is, you need to seek prior permission. If you do not seek prior permission, definitely it will be considered as all references, bibliography, table of contents, preface and acknowledgements, that is not the part of plagiarism, right? All generic terms, law, standard symbols, and standard equation. Okay, say Newton's third law or any symbol, theta, gamma, pi, whatever, right? With their value, pi is equal to 3.14. That is not considered as plagiarism, right? So common language or coincidental terms up to 14 consecutive words is again not considered as a plagiarism. This is excluded. Common language means well-established fact, quote, figure, or information that is known to most of the people. It is well-established fact. Everybody knows that Newton's third law is whatever, right? So that will not be considered as plagiarism, right? What are the penalties? Okay, I don't know how much. Yeah, we have still 20 minutes, right? So we'll go a little faster. Okay, those who are keen, they can explore this later on, right? So this is the extract from again the same notification, 23rd July 2018. The when you commit, you can say some mistake, I should say, right, or crime, right? You will be penalized. This is how you have been. This is what UGC said, that level 0 similarity is up to 10. Okay, whenever you put up your paper or dissertation in any plag tool, it will give you the similarity index, right? So if the similarity index is up to 10%, that is 9 or 10%, minor similarities, no penalties, that is 10% is the permissible limit. Level 1, that is 10 to 40, such student shall be asked to submit a revised script within a stipulated time period not exceeding 6 months. Level 2, similarities above 40 to 60, such student shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. Okay, he has to take a break of 1 year, forcefully. Level 3, similarities above 60%, such student registration for that program shall be cancelled. It will stand cancelled, right? Penalties in research publication, right? This is with regard to student. Now let us have a look at with regard to, you can say, the teachers or our community. Okay, up to 10% minor similarities, no penalty. 10 to 40% shall be asked to withdraw the script. Okay, 40 to 60 shall be asked to withdraw the script, shall be denied right to 1 annual increment. Okay, very harsh, right? Shall not be allowed to be a supervisor to any new master's, MPhil, PhD student for a period of 2 years. This is not I am saying, right? This is what the UGC notification talks, right? Level 3, say above 60%, 2 annual increment, and shall not be allowed to be a supervisor to any new masters for a period of 3 years. Okay, this is with regard to teachers, right? Or the professors, right? Very harsh penalties are there, right? Now let us move ahead with the another important aspect, what is called as the conflict of interest or COI in fact, right? Just like we have copyrights, on the parallel line, we have conflict of interest. Okay, what is COI? It exists when there is a divergence between an individual's private interest, competing interest, and his oblique her responsibilities to scientific and publishing activities, such that a reasonable observer might wonder if the individual's behavior or judgment was motivated by consideration of his or her competing interest. Let's say you are a editor-in-chief of a particular XYZ journal, okay, and you wish to publish your own paper in that journal. So in that situation, this sort of thing will arise. You can very well publish it. There is no hitch as such. But you have to disclose it in the beginning. So just like a copyright form, we have a COI form, right? Wherein the author has to disclose his or her conflict of interest. Because just by enjoying a position in an organization, or let us put it other way around, most of the universities nowadays, they are having their own journals. Okay. If I wish to publish, or a person working in the same university, they wish to publish, okay, they may influence the publication process. Okay. You may send your paper to friend, okay, get it reviewed, and after review, get it published in the journal. So if this kind of scenarios are there, okay, this is what is called as the COI. Now these things should be disclosed in the beginning. While submitting the manuscript, along with the copyright form, you need to submit a form called as a COI form, wherein you have to categorically specify what position you enjoy, okay, or in what way you are associated with that journal. If you may be associated with in different capacities and so on, right? And this is this source is source of this particular stuff. Whatever you are looking at in this slide is basically the WAME. WAME stands for World Association of Medical Ethics. It's a very powerful organization, okay, which deals with all those kinds of things. They have got around 30 odd, I should say, the flowcharts for dealing with any kind of scenario, right? So you can report them and then they can come up with the solution, right? Now, there are various types of conflict of interest. So a clear statement of example of the type of competing interest and their definition must be declared. Okay, whether you are having some financial ties, whether you are getting some money, okay, whether you have some academic commitments, okay, whether you have some kind of personal relationship, your relative or close relative or a nephew is working there, political or religious belief may be associated, right? Or maybe institutional affiliation. Okay. So all these things must be categorically specified in the beginning itself, right? Again, the source is wame.org, right? Now, how to declare the conflict of interest? Okay, this is what is there usually in a conflict of interest forms, a COI form. What is to be declared, when and to whom, format for declaration, just like a copyright form, you have a form, a format of declaration for COI, a journal's role in asking additional question or seeking clarification about disclosures, and consequences for failing to disclose before or after. Let's say if I am not disclosing in the beginning and later on somebody has complained, okay, then in that case, the penalty will be harsh. You have to withdraw your manuscript. Okay, you may be penalized, like say you have to submit a written apology, which will be published in the journal itself, and so on. So there are various ways and means in which these things are basically dealt with by different organizations, right? So now let's go ahead with few more important organizations, those who are working with, since we are talking about ethics and all, publication ethics. So COPE is one of the very primary organization. I think they are dealing with all these types of issue. It was established in 1997 in UK with only 3 members, but now it has more than 3,000 plus, right? Maybe more than that, right? So as I said, that is there are various flowcharts, and their tagline is very important. One should read it. That is promoting integrity in scholarly research and its publication, right? So they talk about integrity, right? Committee on Publication Ethics, COPE in short. Okay, it is very powerful, and it has you can say the code of conduct for various aspects of publication process. So earlier the editors were free, but now these people, they held responsible the editors for any kind of wrongdoing, right? So there are a lot of you can say the issues which are there on this particular slide, which deals with the code of conduct of the editors and so on, right? Then core practices of COPE, that is if you have say allegation of misconduct, authorship and contributorship, complaints and appeal. So you can approach them if you feel that your idea has been stolen or your contents have been copied, right? Whatever, right? So you may have some COI kind of issues. So competing interest, journal management, all these things are very well defined by this core practices of COPE. Okay, you have beautiful documents over there. The another organization which the persons from I think medical line they will appreciate, that is it is the World Association of Medical Editors, WAME in short it is called as. It was established in 1995. Again, wame.org is the you can say the URL for that. And you have ethics and professionalism. So lot of issues, that is principles of transparency and best practices, professionalism, code of conduct, and so on and so forth, right? So this is the second important organization which is dealing with all these kind of issues, right? So again, they have a lot of, you can say the documents, you can go in detail later on at your leisure time, right? That is how to peer review and what are other publication related issue, what is impact factor, how it is being manipulated, right? Then the registration of clinical trials, right? It is applicable to medical only, right? So registration of clinical trial is mandatory. Okay, if you report certain things without carrying out clinical trials, okay, and that too without registration of clinical trials, that research will not be considered as foolproof, right? So WAME again, authors, conflict of interest, all those things, and they have a lot of resources as well, WAME resources. Then again, you have one more organization, what they call as the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, that is ICMG, right? This is a very small organization, I should say, only 16 members are there, okay? And they have got, you can say, the multiple edition of the documents, again, that deals with integrity, publication process, and so on, right? So ICMJ, it is also known as the Vancouver group, right? Because the very first meeting of that particular group, that's why it is called as Vancouver group. It is also called as Vancouver style. So they have various, you can say the URMs are there, okay? And they revise it from time to time, right? So what is URM? It is the uniform requirement or Vancouver style, okay? That is how to write a paper. There are certain standards they have set, right? So those you need to, those who are into, you can say, medical research, okay, they must be knowing it, okay? So ICMJ is there. So with this, I think, yes, we have still 5 minutes more, 5 to 10 minutes more, because your next session will start at 2:30. Now the topic is open for discussion. Okay, so if you have any query, you can fire it now. I hope you people are with me. I don't know how many. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So any specific thing you would like to ask? It is open for discussion.
Sir, very nice lecture. Kiran Godse again here.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
very nice.
yes,
See, being a medical writer and I being a editor of the journal,
yes, sir.
we face many issues from the authors,
Yes, sir.
and one of them issues is uh, obviously the repeated journals ask for a big amount of fee to get printed,
Okay.
and most
Yes,
of our Indian authors cannot pay those fees and get it published in a national international reputed journals.
Mhm.
So, is a university gives a grant for publication in the international journals? Any guidance?
Actually, sir, for publication, there is a scheme from UGC. Okay, UGC normally provides you some seed money, but that is again for publication of your maybe thesis in book form, something like that, as far as I know. But as far as universities are concerned, we don't have any funding for publication of articles. So from my background, the background I belong to, that is computer science and engineering, we normally encourage a student to publish in free journals, right? So free, and I hope, I don't know much about your medical line, but I think again open access kind of thing is again there. So open access, normally they are cheaper in terms of processing charges and so on, right? But we don't have any provision as far as our university is concerned. We don't have any provision for paying the publication fee, right? Which is again, it is in dollars many times.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
It is
yes.
in
Thank you.
dollars.
Yes, yes. Right. Thank you, sir.
So, but you can approach UGC, as I said, or but in your case, I don't know whether UGC entertain medical research or not. But I don't have any idea. But there must be some provision from your Medical Council of India.
Sir, thank you very much. I just want to ask one thing.
Yes. Sir, please.
Hello.
Please go
Can
ahead,
you
sir.
hear?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I'm Aftab Rizvi.
Yes, sir.
Actually, when we are writing a research paper, for example, if we are reading some research articles and that author has cited somebody, and if you want to cite that person, how to deal with that, and the paper is not available in that case.
Paper is not available in UGC.
Yeah, for example, I am reading a research paper of Mr. X, and
Right.
Mr. X has cited Mr. Y.
Okay.
And I like that content of Mr. Y, but I do not have access of the paper
Access
of
to that
Mr. Y.
paper. Got it, sir.
How to deal with that? Whether we can cite it direct like he cited, or we can do something else.
So maybe, sir, if you are this kind of scenario will exist only when you are referring to a very old publication, maybe. I don't know the faculty you belong to. But in our that is domain, that is computer science and all, normally we never came across this kind of scenario. But I think still you can cite it, okay, if you feel like, because ultimately you have to come out of this plagiarism and all these kind of, you can say, activities. So it's better to cite it, okay, whatever little bit stuff you have, okay. So with regard to publication, if you are asking, then you have to cite it some way or the other in the running text, that is in the reference section. But if it is not accessible to you, so this is very rarest of rare possibility. That
No,
is
sir,
what I feel personally.
accessible means that it is available. I'm not saying that it is not available at all.
But it is, you need to pay something. You need
Yes,
to pay
sir.
something.
We have to pay, for example, $45 for that paper. If I like
Yes, sir,
10
yes.
papers, 10 papers
I
of
got your
Mr.
point, sir. I got your point. But there are resources available, sir. At national level, again, there is a network, what they call it as the InflipNet. Okay. And through universities and most of the colleges, all these resources are very much available, sir. So you can approach them. Let's say if you are facing problem in getting a particular paper, you can approach me as well, right? You can send me the entire, you can say, the URL, so that I'll download it and return it back to you, sir.
Thank you so much for
So
that.
you have to find out your own solutions for that, sir.
Yeah.
Now things have changed, sir. Because with our university, we are paying around 35-40 lakh per annum for this journal
we
subscription
have
only.
resources. We have resources.
Yes.
But for example, if I like Mr. Y paper and cited by Mr. X, so
Yes, sir.
can we cite in the same way without going through that paper? That's a concern.
Your concern I have understood, sir, but the solution again I have provided. That is what you can do for avoiding plagiarism and all, right? It's better to cite it in the same manner, even if you are not getting access. I hope
Thank
you
you
have
so
understood
I
my
got
answer.
it. Thank you so much,
Yes,
sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Sir,
sir.
may I know you are from which university? By the way?
Sir, I am from D.Y. Patil.
Is it? Acha. D.Y. Patil, Mumbai. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mumbai.
So there are a lot of people from medical line. I am surprised.
Yeah, we
And
have
happy
a
as
lot
well.
of people because
Yeah.
we are doing in bulk. So in all
Wow,
the
great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for selecting HRDC Amravati, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Thank
you please propagate this to your fellow colleagues as well, right? Because we will be happy to serve them as well, right?
Yes. I am from Vijay Patil School of Management.
Great, sir. Great.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Any other question? So yes, please.
last few words. As you already discovered the conflict of interest and some like research ethics and all, I came across some of the colleagues who were doing or who were adding their name with the other departments by virtue of their experience or by heading the department kind of things. It is not a, matlab, is it not a like a unethical practices? Some things like for the promotions they are adding some papers without PhD they are getting associate. Then such for such type of the difficulties or such type of problems, then what is the solution?
I have categorically said, sir, okay, that is absolutely wrong, completely unethical kind of practices. Sir, I have also seen that in a single conference, okay, 5 different students are appearing, and the let's say that all those 5 paper, the HOD's name is is constantly appearing at the end, right? So that is completely unethical, sir. And because it's not possible to work in so many areas at a time, right? Because you have limited time and resources, right? So that is completely unethical, sir. And that's why I said, now that's why the UGC is thinking that instead of having this kind of publication, let us drop the idea of having any publication for submission of PhD, right? So recently they have come up with with a notification wherein they have not they have I think diluted that condition of submitting certain or publishing certain papers for submission of thesis and so on, right? So these issues are very much there, sir. But unfortunately, and that's why I don't know. But when it is linked with your bread and butter, as I said, promotion and all, recruitment, then definitely people they indulge into this kind of activity, but which is completely undesirable and unethical, right? I hope I have answered you.
Thank you, sir.
It is it is
Thank
absolutely
you, sir.
unethical.
But sometimes it hurts a lot because we are a little bit ethical persons and we cannot see all these kind of the bad practices.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
That happens.
anyway, we have to accept sometimes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ultimately, the regulating body, they have to deal with all these kind of issues. Right? Ultimately, they have to come up with some white paper that is how to deal with this kind of scenario, right? So once again, I thank you all, and I hope you are enjoying all the sessions. Okay, we are trying our level best to give you the best of the resource person. Okay, so with this, I thank you all, and so over to Ankit.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So we are really thankful to you for such a wonderful and insightful session on towards the research ethics in publication given by present by you. You have discussed a lot of modalities, what kind of research and ethics should be there while we are publishing our work in public domain. So on behalf of Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Mohammed Atik sir for being with us, enlighten us, gives us insightful towards the publication, towards the research ethics in publication. I again extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for their active participation during the session. And with the kind consent of Professor Atik sir, I would like to declare that this session will be over here, and we will continue for the next session. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Participants, please stay connected. We will start our session within 2 or 3 minutes. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. This is Ankit Thakur from Sant Garge from Rauti University. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Immediately I will share on your email address. Yes, sir. Sir, I have just shared now on your email address arrahman@jmi.ac.in. Yes, I have just forwarded it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please join. Hello, Professor Anisul, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Shall we start, sir, if you could permit?
Sorry that I got a little bit delayed. Are you hearing me? Now it's okay?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. You are clearly audible, sir. Clearly audible.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm sorry that I have got a little bit delayed.
Don't,
Let
sir,
me begin
no,
now.
not mention, sir, not mention. So, good afternoon, friends, once again. As we have already discussing the various modalities of this national education policy, and in a couple of time before we have discussed on the research and development, what kind of ethics will be there in the publication. Now we are going with a very different topic, and whatever may be the topic, while we are connecting the education, the main motive of this education is to upliftment of society and ultimately our development of our society, development of our nation, and development of this universe. And therefore the UGC and the Ministry of Education has identified one of the most crucial and important thing, that is higher education in the society in this flagship program. And to discuss this topic today, we have with us a very great and senior personality, Professor Anisul Rahman, sir. Sir, I extend my warm welcome to you to this flagship program. Friends, Professor Anisul sir is at present serving as a professor and head at the Center of West Asian Studies in Jamia Islamia Millia University, that is situated in the New Delhi. It is a university with the immense importance identified by the Ministry of Education. Sir has more than 3 decades of teaching as well as the research experience in the field of girl studies, in the field of population Asian studies, and he has also the former director of our MMTTC, formerly Airwest, it was the Academic Staff College and the Human Resource Development Center. Now it is a Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, and he was conducted many more programs towards the development of faculty. He was also visited the various abroad countries for academic assignments, conducting or delivering the or presentation for the talks and the papers in national as well as the international journals. He has also the author of 5 books that will be depending upon the Gulf Asian Studies. So under his able leadership, Jamia Islamia University has also conducted the academic leadership program, and Sir was coordinated that program and Sir was headed that program that was launched by the Ministry of Education for nurturing the academic leaderships of the ranking for the directors, vice chancellors, and the pro vice chancellors in the entire universities across the countries. So friends, this is the brief with regards to Professor Anisul sir. There are a number of things which can I told regarding to Professor Anisul sir. But I will not take much more time because sir will conduct an interactive and will deliver very informative session towards what is the role of our education society, role of our HEIs towards the development of the society, and what are our responsibilities and what we should have do. So sir, I will not take much more time. We are eagerly waiting to hear you. Sir, I can extend my warm welcome to you and request you to start with your session. Sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much for so kind words you have used. Thank you once again. I am also thankful to the director and his entire team of MMTTC and all of my colleagues who have joined this program. So we all are equal in the sense that we all are basically getting the professional requirements of higher education in order to improve or to develop the society at large. And it is rightly pointed by our colleague that we all have assembled here to learn as how education, higher education, has played a very important role in order to improve, in order to develop the society at the theoretical level, at the empirical level, at the national or international level. Means how higher education can be used for the progress and development of the society. And it is rightly pointed out that this is NEP orientation and sensitization program. So it's a 1 week, means 8 days capsule or what we call a module, to which we all are interested to know much more about all this. So one theme is out of that one is higher education and society, to which I have been assigned to discuss with all of you. So equally pertinent, or the theme we all know, is that holistic and multidisciplinary education, Indian knowledge system, ICT, and then student diversity and inclusive education, and skill development. So these are the major themes which are directly or indirectly interrelated and connected to each other. And these all issues, these all themes are basically imparted, or these all themes are discussed, taking the importance and significance of NEP orientation, orientation and sensitization, NEP 2020. We all know pretty well that this national education policy has already been implemented. But how to make it success, a grand success for the benefit of the society, we all have been discussing, and we all have been sensitizing ourselves. These all 8 themes are going to reinforce, these 8 themes are going to make all of us a little bit more empowered, more sensitized, more what we call knowledgeable, and of course more motivated also, as how this national education policy could be implemented. Because we all are the practitioners. We all are the educational practitioners in the sense that we all are imparting our knowledge. We are creating the knowledge, and the same is imparted to the coming generation or to the next generation, to the younger generation. This becomes very important. So before going further to discuss this higher education and society, I need to discuss something at the I need to project larger picture of this issue. We all know that here the purpose of discussion is to understand different issues, different challenges being faced by higher education, as how higher education can play more vital role, more pivotal role, more crucial role in order to achieve the larger mission or larger vision of this great nation, means India. We all know pretty well that we are going to complete 100 years of our independence day, or we are going to celebrate centenary day by 2047. And that day and that time has been chosen auspiciously in order to declare, in order to achieve the larger picture, to a larger goal, larger objectives of our great nation. Means we are looking forward to seeing this great nation as a developed nation, means Vikshit Bharat. And that time is not very far ahead. It is not very far ahead, hardly 25, 26 years are left. And we need to achieve a lot. We need to overcome many challenges. And it is thought that if we make our higher education more robust, more quality oriented, I think we will be able to achieve this great mission and great vision. And we have India, means our nation has a lot of potential. That potential needs to be cultivated. That potential needs to be reaped. And that could be made only possible with the help of higher education. And we are basically the very important stakeholder, one of the very important stakeholders of higher education, means teachers. As it is clearly said that we have the potential to guide this nation on the right path, means we can move or we can take this nation at the higher pedestal with the help of higher education, and we are the most active agent or of this higher education. We are playing our due role, no doubt about that, but we need to play rather more and more pivotal role in order to achieve this great vision, a great dream of this nation. So here it is realized that if we discuss, if we sensitize ourselves about these 8 major themes, 8 major goals, 8 major issues, we are expected and we are thinking that it will become easier for this great nation to achieve this target. So let me now discuss with you and highlight some of the potential to which we all are having. As we all know that very recently, this nation is now, means has replaced China in terms of the population. So India has become the first country, or has become the most populous country in the world today. You must be wondering what is the good point you are highlighting. Let me tell you here what we are going to basically discuss. Many challenges are there. How these challenges could be converted into the opportunity. This is the smartness, and this is the, I think, role to which we all are teachers are going to play our role in this direction. We all know that India, that is Bharat, now has enormous population. And here there is a silver line within that. What is the silver line? That India is now called as a country of youths. India is also called as a young country. And over and above, I think it is called as a country of demographic dividend. India is passing through the stage of demographic dividend. So it's a very technical word in the sense that what is the meaning of demographic dividend? Demographic dividend refers to the age of the means those populations, because population is categorized into different categories: old age, young age, adolescent, and the children. So here, when we call as the demographic dividends, means India has enormous power or the potential, in the sense that two-thirds of the population of this great nation belongs to the category of the age group of 15 to 35. Means 66% plus belongs to this category. That group is called as the working age group. Means 15 to 35. So, means see how enormous and how potential India is having right now. So what is basically required? Why we are discussing? Because these population, these youths, if we convert this youth or the chunk of the largest group of the population into the human capital or the human resource, it will become the big assets, and of course it will become the boon for this great nation. As we often discuss and debate that whether population or the rapid growth of population would be considered as a bane or boon, or the liability or asset for the nation. So here my point is that if we manage this population, that is called youth, definitely this population is going to be converted into the human capital. And how it is possible? It can be only made possible with the help of education, more specifically the higher education, and providing the help. If we educate this young population, youths, and give the rightful kind of skills and training, they will become the big assets for this nation. Once they become the big assets for this nation, then definitely they are going to contribute immensely for the progress, economic and social development of this society, of this nation. So here the role of the teachers, the role of the higher education becomes very, very pertinent and very important. And we as a faculty, it has been well acknowledged in this policy, in this national education policy, that teachers are the pillar, are the great pillar of the society. They are basically the path breaker. They are the destiny maker of the society, of this foreseeable future of this society. So the teachers are having all these quality, we are having all these. So what is basically lacking? So here it is the need of the hour to discuss and debate and sensitize ourselves and motivate ourselves, so that we can produce and we could convert this huge chunk of the population, youth population, into the human capital. And definitely they will not only be useful for India directly, but also to the entire world. Let me tell you one more point, that Indians who are educated, they have also left India. They are working in different parts of the world, and they are emitting a huge remittance to India. And if you see the World Bank report today, data or the provided by the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, we get to know that in this last year or in this year, India has received 125 billion US dollars, replacing and leaving China and many countries far behind. In case of China, it is estimated to be around 64 or 65. In case of India, we have not only crossed 100 billion, but even it has gone much, much beyond 125 billion. And this, in the foreseeable future, in foreseeable time, foreseeable year, I think this number, this volume is going to increase phenomenally. So how this is made possible? This is all made possible due to the outflow of the human capital across the country, and of course within the country as well. So here, it becomes very important to educate. It becomes very important to provide help. It becomes very important to provide skills. As we all know that India is now having the Ministry of Skill Development, realizing the importance and the significance. So how we are going to reap the benefits of this youths? And let me tell you, in case of many Asian countries, East Asian countries, we have witnessed and we have got to know that these countries have benefited enormously due to their demographic dividend. They have taken the benefit, but so far we have not taken the benefits. And this kind of phase started way back in 2005-6. And this kind of situation is not going to continue for all times to come. Means demographic dividend, to which we all call it, or the country is this country is a country of youths. This kind of situation is not going to continue for all times to come. It will remain only till 2055 or 50. Means this kind of situation emerges and that stays only for 50 years, 50 or 55 years. Same thing is going to happen. See, the population which falls into the category of the age group of 15 to 35, add 25 to 25 more years in this age, they will go beyond 55 or 60. Means at that time, after 2055 or 60, we will struggle and we will see as how to provide the social security as we see and we are witnessing in case of what we call it European countries. So here is a golden opportunity, opportune time for India to convert, to educate, to give rightful kind of skills so that country could be benefited and we will be able to achieve the objectives and the mission and the vision of these great nations in the form of Viksit Bharat, in the form of developed nation. And here the role of higher education institutions, or when we talk of higher education, means we the faculty, which is estimated to be around 15 lakhs. 15 lakhs teachers are there. 15 lakhs plus teachers are there. So it is the mission of this MMTTC, Malvi Mission Teachers Training Center, to provide training, provide exposure to each and every faculty, irrespective of their length of service. From young age to the, senior most teachers, they all have been asked, they all have been requested to undergo this kind of program, NEP orientation and sensitization, so that we could play our proactive or team role for developing the society, for developing our own nation. We could contribute in the growth and the development of our nation. And we all know that this national education policy, if you go through this document, lot of promises are there. So this is the one point. The second point, many recommendations have been made in this national education policy. Let me now come with some of the recommendations, some of the salient features of this national education policy relating to higher education. I will focus on higher education and how it has the potential, or it is contributing, or it will contribute, or it can contribute immensely or profoundly for bringing the transformation in the society in a big way or in the positive way. This is what we are interested. This is what we are all going to do this. So let me discuss with you that where do we stand at the global level? If you see the growth, because these are the some indicators like per capita income, we know that in economics we always use to see the standard of the country or the development of the country. In higher education, we all know that gross enrollment ratio. What is gross enrollment ratio to which India is having, or in India we find, and what are the global scenario? As it is clearly said in this national education policy that we need to make our gross enrollment ratio or increase our gross enrollment ratio to 50%. Means we need to achieve that target. And if you see the scenario today, it is around 25 to 26%. After making a lot of effort, so we are making a lot of efforts for many years, and we have achieved. If you see the scenario 20 years before, it was around 10%. Gross enrollment ratio of our own country in higher education was estimated to be only 10%. And if you see the gross enrollment ratio in the United States of America right now, it is estimated to be in the range of 85 to 90%. If you see the scenario in case of European Union societies or the countries, over there, it is in the range of 65 to 70%. And Asia as a whole, Asia as a continent, it is estimated to be average gross enrollment ratio is estimated to be in the range of 36 to 40%. And the global gross enrollment ratio is estimated to be in the range of 25 to 27 or 28%. See, and right now we are just hovering, we have not crossed even the global gross enrollment ratio. And it is mandated, it is clearly said that we need to make it done. See, the challenge to which we all are having is for the last 75 years plus, we are working very hard. So we have achieved the target of only 25 to 26%. So it is said by 2035, which is not very far, hardly 11 or 12 years are left. Within that, we need to make it double, 50%. So how Herculean task we all are having. But target is huge. Target is next to be impossible, but not. I won't say impossible, but difficult. But hence we need to work on, because these all are related to the Viksit Bharat. These all are related, as it is clearly said by many economists that if India wants to become the developed nation by 2047, it seems to be difficult, because India has to grow 8 to 9% annual growth is there, then it will be possible. So I think with this, making our higher education a stronger one, robust one, I think we will be able to achieve this target, at least not exactly, but we will be closer to that one. So whole idea is that how we can make our education as a whole, and more specifically the higher education, which would be robust, which would be quality oriented, which would be access to education to each and every one. One point that it is the target of 50%. Let me tell you right now, whatever the gross enrollment ratio, how problematic is in other way. Only by enhancing or increasing the number, the problem is not going to resolve, because ours is a society, for that matter, any society is not all inclusive. Women constitute 50% of the national population. So in the case of the world population, but let me discuss and confine ourselves to Indian situation. If we see the participation of the women, means gender participation, that is not satisfactory, that is not encouraging. They are grossly underrepresented. Whatever their share is there, that is they are far behind. So one issue that needs to be taken care by all the faculty, all the teachers, like how we can think of a inclusive society in terms of the gender, means how we can become or make our class, make our society, make our approach that would be called gender sensitive or gender inclusive. The buck does not stop here. The problem is much more than that. Take the example of the people who are living in the rural areas, or those who belong to the socially disadvantaged section of the society. Those social group are excluded. So here it is pertinent, it is important for all of us to take these social group socially disadvantaged sections of the society, how they could be mainstream, how they could be brought into the mainstream, and what we also call it, how they would be included, how we can have the inclusive approach, how we can have the inclusive mind. In the class also, how we can convert the class which would be all inclusive. So it's not an easier task. So only this achieving this target of 50%, making the target, the problems are not going to resolve for once for all. So we need to see these all are the catches. These all are the catches that to which we all need to take care of. I'm sure that you all are hearing to me. And here, since we are going to discuss the higher education system, so how the higher education has traveled as of now. If you see the scenario at the time of independence or the early 50s, not much institutions were there. So only 20 or 28 universities were established or were existing at that time. If you see the journey and the travel and the phenomenal growth of the university, if you calculate today, if you see the data provided by the Ministry of Education through the University Grants Commission, we get to know that number has increased to 1200 including the private university. Because the purpose of private public university is to provide the welfare, to provide the education to the human population, to the Indian population, to our own country. But this is not good, adequate enough. But the number has increased phenomenally. Many times we have, and the numbers have increased. If you see the colleges, at that time, hardly 500 colleges were established in the early 50s. So if you see the 2022-23, I think into 2024, number has increased, that has crossed 45,000. In case of the, what we call it, stand-alone institutions. In these case, we have seen that 12,000 stand-alone institutes. Well, you must be wondering why I am saying. So it is why I am saying, because India is having the robust kind of education system, one of the largest system, means largest, second or third largest system in the world. But if you see in terms of the quality, if you see from the requirement point of view, because this is directly relating to the catering of what we call it, the gross enrollment ratio. As I have already told you what is happening, what is the scenario in the Europe and North America and other parts of the world. And what is the scenario, what is the status, what is the number to which we are having. So 25 to 26%. Number is not good enough. Even then within, there's a catch within the number also. As why I'm highlighting, because we need to make it double. Only by making the double gross enrollment ratio, the issues are not going to stop. Many issues. So we need to take all these issues together. Then we can think of a better society, progressive society, or equitable society which is based on social justice and everything. In terms of the gender, there is a serious problem. In terms of the category, social category, many sections of the society are already excluded for centuries. So now the time has come to take them into the consideration so that they could also play their active role for the progress and development of this great nation. So giving this kind of background, let me now discuss what is the potential the higher education will have. So first of all, I will discuss the philosophy, functions, and the role of higher education and challenges, and definitely we will come down to our own Indian situation. So you give me a minute so that I could open my slide to show. We will discuss this. I hope it is audible. It is noticeable.
Positive, sir.
Yes, sir, visible.
It's visible. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is visible. So higher education and society. The higher education and society both are directly related to each other. Means higher education brings a lot of positive change in the progress and development and growth of any society. So let us move on because time is not much. So what is the philosophy of higher education? These are the philosophy, means higher education is based on four pillars. What are the pillars? Means it is the function of the higher education institution. Higher education is to enhance knowledge, to perspective, generate knowledge, seeking truth, promoting critical thinking and conserving culture and civilization. So this is the major pillars of higher education, which is higher education is lost. So all the time we say that university, college, Mahavidyalaya, Vishwavidyalaya, we say that means it is the place where knowledge is created, knowledge is generated. We debate critical thinking, and we all are striving to seek truth, and of course, our culture, civilization must be preserved. And so these are the four pillars on which we can say that higher education is based. So let us now go to just discuss all this. What is the role of higher education in the society? Many issues are prevailing or striking in the society. What is this? What are the major challenges and what we call it the issues? This is the first is about changing world. I think we all know that change is taking many times and rapid change is taking place today. Second is about what are the three purposes of higher education. When we talk of the objectives of higher education, and what are the five key roles of higher education? So we all are going to three important salient features of higher education. Changing world. Already we know that the world, what is yesterday, what was yesterday, today will be okay, but tomorrow it will become obsolete. Means as we all know, the learning, relearning, de-learning and relearning. Means why it is said? It is said so we can realize. Means change is the only law of nature. So what was yesterday will not remain so today, and tomorrow will be different. So learning, relearning, de-learning and relearning. So we all should be ready enough to learn. Means when we talk of tomorrow means future I'm talking of. This is a rapid change, and it is said by many of you all have realized, if you see the change which has taken place during the last 30 or 40 years, even the change to which it has taken place during the last 30 years, 3 or 4 decades, I think that much change, if you might at least 500 century I am talking of, not change more than the quantum of change of only 3 and 4 decades will be much higher than the change which had taken place during the last many centuries, let me tell you. So in a way, we are very fortunate that we have seen a lot of change, and in terms of the technology, in terms of many things. And this is all the magic of the contemporary time. See, the many for since 1990s, we have started discussing LPG. We all liberalization, privatization, globalization. If you see the today scenario, now we are talking of chat GPT, artificial intelligence. So how they all are going to change? If you see in 70s, there was invention of radios and then computer in 60s, and these all have come. And there was a worry at that time, expressed worry at that time that it is going to replace the human mind or the human labor. I think it didn't happen. Again, now we are expressing our worry that artificial onset of artificial and chat GPT is going to replace or is going to create unemployment. But these all are the technology. So human mind can never be replaced by anything, let me tell you. So how we are going to reap the benefits of all this technology, it all depends on the human mind. It all depends on the intellectuals or the academia and I thought. These all are there in order to take the benefits or make the benefits out of this all technology, all these instruments. So taking these kind of, so how these, I think we will center around changes, how changing world. It's also a two things are very important. When we talk of the changing world, a changing society, it is an opportunity. And at the same time, it is also creating a lot of challenges. If we will be able to overcome the challenges, this will become the opportunity, great opportunity for the society, for the human being, for the population. And of course, we all know that the purpose or the objectives of higher education is to bring transformation, to bring radical, I think, tangible transformation in the society. And how it would be, so five key roles we all are going to explain it to you. See, changing society is a challenge. So how it could be converted into the opportunity. So society is changing very rapidly, mainly due to the globalization that leads to the rise of international trade, finance, transfer of digital technology, human mobility, the role of media. See, today we are saying that, yeah, the one person can have breakfast elsewhere and dinner, lunch in other country, other border, and dinner could be possible in other continent. So this is, there's a rapid human mobility, which is also, there's a free transfer of technology, information. See, if anything happening in any parts of the world, we fraction of second we get to know how rapid change is taking place. So this globalization is in fact characterized by expansion of economic activities, social activities, cultural activities across the national boundaries. This is manifested in international trade, investment on account of free flows of goods, services, and technology, information, everything. Here, the role of higher education has become very profound in order to meet the current challenges. These are all are the challenges. Already I have shared with you how these challenges would be converted into the opportunity in the society. This all become important, that this all would be made possible if we become very motivated and if we play our role, if we have the human intervention, our human utilization, application of the human mind is always possible. What are the purposes of education? The roles played by university in society are shaped by the purposes and they have defined for themselves by society. For good reasons, national higher education systems reveal diverse institutions as universities are characterized by different missions and educational purposes and the goals. We all know that every university, every higher education institution has their own mission, vision, and the larger picture, if we see, the purpose is to provide the humanity, provide equality, to provide social justice and peace, stability. If you see these all words, these all missions, I think these are the purpose. I think if no peace, always conflict, I think that society will never lead to the stable one. And that will not be the ideas, that will not be the long purpose of any society. So how to deal with this deal with the conflict so that conflict could be resolved and could be managed to a larger, so that peace could prevail. When peace will be there, stability will be there. When the peace and stability will be there, there is a ground for the development, economic development, social development is very much possible. So here this becomes very important that we all know that two types of generalistic and specific goals. We all know that. Now, if we examine our university, the mission and vision, I think it is rightly said in the national education policy that our system, higher education system, where we all teachers are there, our purpose is to create or produce or to educate the students or the coming generation or the future generation, which would be global citizens. Global, we are talking of the global citizens. So what kind of course content would be there so that we'll be able to uh, produce this and issues or anything. Sometimes specific needs are important, because if you see the everything, education or the role of higher education can play three roles, three layers. One is the local needs, and then national needs, and then global needs. So if we produce our students, if we educate our students, if we provide skills to the students or to the coming generation, whatever you name, I think they will, what we call it, they could serve the purpose, the local requirements and national requirement, and if you see at the larger level or the global, wherever see what is happening today, we all know that we will see to it. Higher education is a rich cultural and scientific asset which enables personal development and promote economic, technological, and social change. We all know that. Higher education promotes exchange of knowledge, research, innovation, and equips the students which will with the skills needed to meet ever-changing labor market. So, see, I'm giving you one example. We, as a teacher, need to understand the requirement. So, pandemic has created havoc for the society. Pandemic has created disaster. So, how to deal with? And the post-pandemic situation will be completely different. So, we need to see this thing. And we need to take all these issues into the mind. For students in vulnerable circle, it is a passport to economic security and a stable future, no doubt about that. So the role of higher education cannot be understood in isolation. We all know that. Because here, local need, national need becomes very important. Higher education must necessarily intersect and effectively engage with the economic and social challenges at the local, already at the national, regional, continental, and global level. So these include imperatives of economic growth and development. There's an ability to compete globally. Means today, it is said that our students should be created, should be cultivated in such a way that they could compete globally. No doubt about that. So job creation, reduction, elimination of unemployment, these are the roles that needs to be played by higher effective delivery of social services. These all come under the purview of the. So what are the challenges basically? And imperatives of equity and redress, social justice, democratization of state and society, building of a culture of human rights, creating a vibrant civil society, and promoting culture of vigorous and critical intellectual public discourse. Basically, these all are the issues, larger issues that need to be, these all issues need to be debated, these all need to be discussed in a very effective manner, in a very objective manner. See, here, one thing again, I would like social justice. We all know that these are the purview of the higher education. Over there, we, the intellectuals, we, the teachers, need to discuss with so that we could come with certain ideas. So here, democratization of state and society. Again, how society, civil society, and the state. There's always, we all know that both how. Take the example of democracy. Again, democracy, sometimes it is a nascent democracy, mature democracy, sometimes electoral democracy. So it is known by different names. So when we talk of deliberative democracy or the mature democracy or substantive democracy or electoral democracy, I think when we talk of electoral democracy, by namesake democracy, sometimes in many points, every country claims that it's a democratic country. But we as an intellectual need to assess, we need to understand what are the elements of democracy that is found in any society I'm talking of. Here we are talking at the global level. And of course, if you see the level of democracy in the West, if you see the democracy of South Asian countries, if you see the democracy of East Asian countries, it varies from one nation to another nation, from one region to another region. So we see that, and the purpose of, we all know that the purpose of any society, when we used to make any society a progressive society, developed society that would be based on equity, social justice, definitely we need to honor, we need to enhance the merit of democratization of the state. Sometimes we all know that states, the role of the state, we all know that. Sometimes very repressive, sometimes, of course, welfare state is also there. So what kind of state we are going to? It all depends on the population also. It all depends on the citizen also. And what is the role of education? I think if the people are educated of any country for that matter, I think the greater chance that society will have democratic society or larger kind of democratic society, equal society. This is all possible. And when the equality, social justice is so, there is chance of protection of the human rights will also be there. Even in that society, I think this is also very important that critical, I think intellectuals will be very critical. And why criticism? Criticism for the sake of development, for the sake of development, for the sake of achieving something which would be noble, which would be ideal. So I think this it is interesting to the higher education must be guided and embody specific principles. And what are the principles? Equity and quality, social development, democratization, academic freedom, institutional autonomy, effectiveness and efficiency, and public accounting. Many times we say that how accountability could be ensured. And for bringing effectiveness, efficiency, I think institutional autonomy is also there. When the institutional autonomy would be there, there would be chance of academic freedom. When we talk of academic freedom means we the teachers must have the freedom to examine, to scrutinize anything in a very objective, in a very rational, in a very objective manner. We should not be partial, we should not be opinionated, because we are seeing everything in the larger picture so that we can think of humanity would be the only consideration, equality would be the only consideration. So this is all in order to achieve all these issues, I think the role of higher education is very important. Higher education must cultivate the knowledge, competency, and skills amongst the students. And there is a need for extensive restructuring of qualification and program to make curricular more congruent with the knowledge, expert, and skills needs of the changing society. Higher education has an significance and engagement between dedicated academics and students around humanities, intellectual, cultural, and scientific inheritances. So these, whatever we have discussed issues, I think if we examine what are the key roles? Roles are many, but what are the key roles of higher education? Cultivation of highly educated people. It is the responsibility of the higher education institution to cultivate the educated mind. And research and scholarship. We all know that what is the function of a teacher? We are basically considered to be the intellectual. So our purpose is to generate knowledge, generate ideas, generate new perspectives. So if we are doing means we are enhancing scholarship. we are basing on a scholarship. So it is the function and the role of higher education is to generate research, and that could be only possible with the research, scientific research, engagement with the intellectual and cultural life of the society, democracy and citizenship. Means there is a direct connections, a connect between democracy and citizenship. If democracy would be strengthened, citizenship would be also better. Develop needs and the challenge. Development needs and the challenges. So over here, the role of higher education would be cultivation of educated for making research and of course providing the platform over there. We can think and we can debate and promote democracy and citizenship, and again to work for the development needs and the challenges in order to overcome the challenges. So these are the 5 points we need to discuss. Excuse me, can I ask you, can I request you, how much time do you need for your own questions? For your own questions, for your own observations. Otherwise, I will keep speaking. So at what time should I stop? So that you could get the time. I should not only speak, but I should also take up some your comments and the observation. So accordingly, I will pause. I will give because they are there after no lecture. So I will stop myself at 5:45. Thereafter, it will be all time for your own questions and observation. Let me now run through, otherwise many things will be left out. So let us, giving this kind of background, so we were discussing about the key roles, philosophy of higher education, means what kind of potential the higher education is having. So we have discussed. So let us examine, in case of India, where do we stand? As in India, due to profound impact of globalization on higher education, like other sectors, all the sectors like economy, society, culture. So every sector has had a lot of impact, positive and negative. Let me tell you, positive and negative. So is the case of higher education as a system. It has also had the impact. The higher education institutions are equipped to equip students with competency necessary to thrive in the globalized economy. The higher education institutions are to prepare students for the challenges and opportunity of the global job market. As India integrates further into the global economy, the skills and knowledge required by the workforce have undergone a significant transformation. Globalization has also underscored the importance of cross-cultural communication, adaptability, and critical thinking. This kind of environment encourages students to work in cultural environment. So if you see the scenario, a lot of impact has made. So what is my worry and what I am thinking, that we need to think globally, act locally. You all know the act locally and think globally. Means anything is happening, good things are happening, best practices are happening anywhere. No time we need to adapt, we need to adopt, so that we could use we can make this point in our own. So preparing students for the globalized economy. See, here I would like to bring to your kind notice that, as I told you, lot of outflow of human capital from India is taking place. And in return, we are getting a lot of inflow, remittances to our own country. But here is a worry part, that because we are discussing the higher education system, higher education institutions, higher education teachers who are teaching, lot of students are leaving our own country, and they are going to Germany, United States of America, Australia, and many European countries or the industrialized countries for acquiring education. So in a way, we are losing our money, a lot of money is lost. So what is the worry and what is the remedy for that? So remedy is that we all know, I think it must have been discussed, our Indian knowledge system. So we have been very rich since in ancient times. Many world-renowned universities were existing in our Nalanda. You must have heard Nalanda, Vikramshila, and then Taxila, undivided India. These were the great institutions of higher learning. Over there, many foreign scholars, foreign students used to come. Now our students, and already irony is that, paradoxical situation is that we are claiming and we are saying that we have the largest system, higher education system in the second or third largest education system in the world. But the issue is that students are going. Our Indian students are going to Germany or other Western European countries and many other countries. So this is the problem. So we need to think globally. We need to see how we can prepare our students. I mean, higher education institutions are responsible for preparing students to excel in this rapidly changing globalized economy. Here are several strategies they can employ. Means what we can do. Means we need to, I'm addressing to you. Holistic curriculum development. Who will do this? We, the teachers, understanding the nuances, understanding the requirement, global requirement. We need to see what is, why our students are leaving. You all know that it's very simple that why our students are leaving. Because they think that even some of the parents, they are selling their lands in order to educate our students. And so in a way, they are sending their students to European countries or somewhere else. Why? Because if they go, their life will be insured, their life will be secured. So if we provide the high quality education in our own country, I am sure that nobody will leave. Since I am the student and my area of interest and specialization is migration and diaspora, if you see the very genesis of migration, no one wishes to migrate. No one wishes to leave his or her own nation, his own place of birth, or wherever he is, this, if they are come. But due to compulsion, due to some other exogenous factor, people migrate. If I don't have anything to survive myself, the place where I am living, I need to go elsewhere. You need to go or somewhere would go. In the same case, if we provide a standard standard education to our students, they will never go. So in a way, we will not lose our money. We will rather save our money, and that money would be used for other productive activities. So here now the time has come to create a holistic curriculum, curriculum, so that they could address any challenges, not only the local, not only the national, but the international challenges, global challenges. And there should be, again, we all know that soft skill. I think now the time has come to discuss about the soft skills. Soft skill has become very important today. If you are engineer, if I am a doctor, other than that, I need to learn something. That will be only taught, that will be only cultivated under the rubric of soft skills. Means engineer graduation, BSc engineer or BTech or MTech, these are not only good enough. I think we, over and above, we need to develop these software skills. Leadership, your quality, your imagination, your mission, your way of expressing, the way how you are putting yourself, posing yourself becomes very experiential learning. Of course, theory is important, but at the same time, experience has become very important. And global exposure. We need to provide the global exposure to our students, lifelong learning and skill upgradation. So if we are going to take these points in our strategy, then we can think of the better one. Need for training of the academic staff, to which we all are doing it. Due to, I think already a strategy may be made at the already. I have covered all this. So what are the other challenges? There's a growth in demand. So already I have also discussed this here 1100, 1200. It has crossed 1200 universities. So 1500 teachers are there that need to be trained, that need to be given a lot of exposure. And what are the other financial constraints? We all know that there's a financial constraint all the time we have discussed, but there's a need to prioritize the higher education. Then we will be able to achieve. So if you see the document of National Education Policy 2020, it is said that 6% of the GDP will grow, but in actual sense of the term, it has not crossed 3%. So it's a point of worry. It's a point of debate. It's a point of that needs to be discussed. And there's a lot of expectation from our side that how we are going to convert our classroom that would be called as learner-centric or the student-centric. So now again in the national education policy, and we all know that there's a lot of expectation from the student. There's a lot of expectation on the part of society for a teacher. So how we are going to play our very important role? The faculty should be outward looking and sensitive to the needs of the society. Means we as a whole, there should have technical competency in order to offer research and consultancy services. So concern for quality. So for already I have discussed with you, access to education means how we can enhance the gross enrollment ratio. The second important point is quality concern is here. In order to ensure quality, this could be only made possible if we start playing our very important role. And that is still there. So expansion, quantity, and the quality, both are a very serious, unless until we do away with this, I think we cannot create our higher education institution that would at the par with what we call it global standard. So it would be only rhetoric if we don't work in this direction. So technological change affects all discipline, no doubt. So we need to be adaptable enough to use all this. And already I have also discussed there's a need to improve women's participation, which has become the need of the day. Optimum utilization of our human resource or the human capital and the requirement of our nation, and to create a gender sensitive society, I think it becomes pertinent. Not only in parliament, but even labor participation or elsewhere, they should play important role. If we give the changing demands of the labor means situation, there is a response to national and regional demands. Pattern of employment are also changing. So there's a need to change the course content accordingly, as we all know. So adaptability has become the need of the day. So we the faculty should be adaptable enough. And then I think for ensuring better education or betterment in the higher education, I think effective management skills have become the need of the day. We should not rely only on the traditional skills, but now the contemporary and of course best mind should be attracted, should be taken in the academia. Then we can think of all the. So in order to meet all these challenges, management of institutions need to respond positively. Means I'm talking of the top level higher education institutions, means vice chancellor, director. So they should play our role in a very responsible, and they should be visionary enough to and how we are going to use these existing institutions. and available faculty for achieving this great task is, again, we need to work very actively and proactively. So here I am going just as a teacher, as a faculty, what we are supposed to do, what kind of competencies we need to cultivate. I am not saying that we all have, but the whole idea is to sensitize ourselves, to motivate ourselves. There should be awareness and understanding of different ways in which students learn knowledge, skills, and attitudes. There should be commitment to a scholarship in the discipline. And we should become the role model, basically. We are so motivated. Unless until we are motivated, we will not be able to motivate the student. Today, the whole gamut, there's a paradigm shift in the teaching pedagogy that our job has been changed, our responsibility. We have become as a facilitator and mentor, providing the mentoring has become the need of the day. Then we can think of better students. And then academic staff in their research roles. Two functions are very important: teaching and research. I think we all know that in this national education policy, it is a research intensive university does not mean that teaching will not take place. When we call it teaching university, does not mean that only teaching. Research is there, because research and teaching are inseparable part to each other. So I think this becomes very, very important. And then making higher education competitive globally. So here we are talking that unless until we impart training, unless until we make our faculty, see, many times we all know that 40%, 50% positions are still vacant. Nobody is taking care of. So we cannot think. I think if faculty, shortage of faculty, we cannot ensure quality. For ensuring quality, full-length faculty has become the need of the day. So no time, we must fill all the vacant positions. Otherwise, you will not be able. You take only one class. So if you need to take two classes, means you are going to run shortage of time, and you will not devote for research. So teaching, research, extension, three types of activities are to be played by all of us. So playing these all roles, it becomes very important for all of us to give reasonable time, and that could be only possible when full length faculty will be there. So making higher education means I'm talking of Indian higher education system, competitive globally. In order to compete our higher education with the globalization, there is a need to take the following steps. Means we all know that it is very recent. It is I think it is I think act has been passed that foreign university will come over here and they can open the field. But here some regulation is very important. Regulating the entry of the foreign university in this case. Of course, in this globalized era, you cannot create any kind of boundary of the world, but we need to fix some regulatory measure so that bogus foreign university would not come, rather the insured or the top level ranking institution of the university would come to open their off-campus here, setting quality standards, providing financial support for internationalization, promoting international collaboration, and also giving a lot of funds to our own academic institutions so that they could compete with the institutions which are expected to come. So here, I would like to now conclude that for that there is a coordinated effort is required on the part of each stakeholder to bring excellence. When we talk of the coordinated effort, means top level higher education management, academic staff, administrative staff, support staff. So there should be coordination between all. Then we can think of all this. The government must create an enabling environment for university to thrive globally. Even we can say our education. So in private university, MIT has the campus in Dubai, many more universities. So here it becomes very important that how we can ensure quality so that we can compete globally. So now the time has come to work and to also pay attention, not only on the part of the academic staff, but on the part of government, because government is also one of the very important stakeholders. So money is coming, so substantial money and finance should come. The power of globalization must be harnessed to enhance the quality. Means all the time we say that higher education and globalization, there is a direct connection between. So how this globalization and the process of globalization can be tracked in the positive direction, so that we can take the benefits. So if the universities are coming, so how we can create our own university exists, they could compete with the foreign university. And if there will be healthy kind of competition, I think it will lead for quality. And we can, in a way, we can retain our own students. They would not go outside, rather they would get the education for what they are aspiring for. Forward-looking and collaborative partnership must be promoted so that our country can emerge as a center of global knowledge hub. We have the resources, we have the population, we have the youth population, we have India has every potential. If we are going to manage our population, if we are going to manage our higher education effectively or efficiently, I am sure that we will be able to achieve the target. We will realize the dream of the developed nation by 2047. I am sure. So here I am just stopping here, as I promised to you that I will give you some time for your own question so that you could raise your own question and comments, and I will be very happy to take up your question. Yes, please. This is all
Yeah,
from
sir.
my side.
Sorry, sir. Sir, I have one question, or rather, I have not understood it properly.
Bataiye.
What is the relationship between higher education and democracy and citizenship? One of your slide you have mentioned that.
Yes, very much
I
related.
have not understood that.
Okay. I think everything is related. If I think unless until we have the debate and discussion, means the very purpose of means our higher education provides enough space for you, for me, for every to discuss everything over here. So democracy is also a process. Democracy is also a process. So how we can create the healthy democracy? That is based on social justice, equity. So one is if we provide education or intellectual mind to the nation, then we can think of the better democracy, mature democracy or substantive democracy. So a lot of discussion is also going on in our own country, or so is the case of any developing country for that nation. And level of democracy in our own country, some people would say that it's a nascent democracy, or in the life of the nation, 75 years are not much. So it takes a lot of time. See the case in our own country. We all are witness to this fact that those who are deprived of education, any kind of education, they will not be understood, they will not understand the real purpose of their vote. I think let's also understand this fact. For healthy democracy, for mature democracy, for better democracy, let me tell you, I think higher education can play a very significant role about that. See, education as a whole, here we have divided into primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education, higher education, only for administrative purpose. See, these all are interconnected. If we don't make this primary education very strong enough, because that is considered the background. That background of the feeding ground, we cannot think of the tertiary education that would be healthy, that would be better. So these all education, any kind of education is very important. And this is purely my own perception and understanding that for mature democracy, for substantive democracy, for progressive democracy, education is essential, inevitable, let me tell you. Without education, without providing education to the citizen of this nation, we cannot think of mature democracy or healthy democracy or whatever you name it. It will remain only the electoral democracy. According to this is purely my own observation and my own perception. So
Got it, sir. Got it, sir.
For higher
What about citizenship, sir?
Sorry?
What about citizenship? Means how does it relate higher education with citizenship?
No. Let me tell you, already I have told you that higher education means what is higher education? Higher education will provide you employment. Higher education will provide you scientific temper. Higher education will provide all kind of opportunities. And then see, higher education, it is said that we need to enhance the gross enrollment ratio to 50%. If you see this case in case of other developed nation, that is much better. So in our own case, it is around 25, 20. Why it is said? Why it is recommended? It is also education for all. Means higher education is, we cannot deny anybody. Those who are interested should come, and those who have the, now it is said that those who have the money, in the sense that now the whole thing is privatized to a larger extent, and education is becoming very expensive. So for healthy democracy, for citizenship, I think both for making the democracy stronger, I think higher education will definitely play a very significant role. I think it is the direct connection, means it is the determining factor, higher education, let me tell you, that will lead to the mature of democracy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody कोई और भी question है किसी के पास, or comments? Either your comments. So I'm so happy that you have raised this question, because many things. Yes, please. Anybody, please, I have stopped so that you could get time for your own questions. Which university are you teaching? Which college?
Me?
Yeah.
Sir, I am from D.Y. Patil School of Architecture, Navi Mumbai, Nerul.
Okay. That is in Mumbai?
Yeah. Mumbai, Navi Mumbai is closer.
Okay.
It is extended city.
That's great. So see, why every teacher has been asked, means 15 lakh teachers they have been asked that they should, unless until we have the dialogue, exchange of idea, exchange of knowledge, we cannot think of the better things. So generation of knowledge, generation of new perspective, generation of something, if we are not going to do it, how the society will be progressed? How many? I think 53. We all are 53. So I will be so happy if anybody would give their own comments in the form of queries, in the form of question, in the form of comments. सब आप लोग पढ़ा रहे, you all are teaching so well. So you are playing your very pivotal role. So come with your own ideas, come with your own question, come with your asking the question is a beautiful thing.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, as per the new education policy, they ask for diversification. You get many fields. People from different fields are welcome. They can master in different fields. But from the employment perspective, it's very difficult to finalize a candidate because he's like jack of all, master of none. So how does this NEP, help us? Because as per the older system, we are quite used to, and we had a good idea, but current system is actually, not solving the problem or creating a different problem, I suppose.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir, please.
Very good question. See, now let us go back to the philosophy of education. Let us go back to the philosophy. Let us try to understand the very philosophy of education. I think, of course, one of the objectives and the mission of getting education is also to get the employment. But it is very small one. It is the only specific purpose of education, acquiring education, is to get the employment. If you see the philosophy and the objectives, larger objectives of education is not only the getting employment, but it gives a larger picture in the enlightenment to take person from darkness to the light. I think this is the purpose, making aware of ourselves of something which we don't know, to which we have not known. That is the purpose. And to also to understand the distinction between right and wrong. What is right? What is wrong? I think many like this question would be solved if we get education. So the purpose of education is not only to get him. And let me tell you, don't you think that what are the problems which are striking the society, plaguing the society today? How could you understand? How could you understand the pandemic, last pandemic or the pandemic, which has struck the entire world? Which one subject or the discipline would be able to understand the dynamics and the problems created by this, what we call it, pandemic 2019? See, when we talk of interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, means see here, whatever I am discussing, where can you place? Where can you place myself? Where can you place? Suppose, of course, your basic knowledge is important, means your specific knowledge is important, but the same time, you knowing the subject, knowing beyond your subject has become the need of the day. How you can relate yourself with any situation? Which subject are you from? Tell me.
Sir, I'm working in biotech department, biotechnology.
Okay. I was discussing one thing, soft skills. Today, I just pointed out about the soft skills. Your biotechnology is very, very important. Someone engineering subject is important, my economics is important, but at the same time, we need to understand the dynamics of the soft skills. And suppose if tomorrow, you will become the vice chancellor of some university. So over there, your biotechnology is good enough, but you need to know about humanities, about the languages, about Persian, about Sanskrit, about social sciences, about commerce, about physics. So many things you need to know. And unless until you know, you cannot really see. Education cannot be compartmentalized, means knowledge can never be compartmentalized. You know that there is no boundary between these subjects. As we see that we belong to the biotechnology, someone belongs to the economics. So your smartness, my smartness only depends when we relate ourselves, because we all are in this world or here to resolve the. Take the example of poverty. We cannot say that poverty is the headache of only economics. Nothing like that. Take the example, if I say that gender or the women are grossly underrepresented. How would you react to that? So you should know, I should know what are the problems relating to that one. So here, knowing the subject deeply is not going to deprive ourselves When we become a generalistic, when we understand the other subject, unless until we know the other subject, other discipline, we cannot understand even our own subject. So knowing the subject of our own subject and relating to the other subject, relating to the other issues, has become the need of the day. If you see go to the suppose biotechnology, if tomorrow you are interested about the music, why I should as the head of this what right I have that to stop you? Don't study music, don't relate this music to your biotechnology. Now it's your smartness. Now it's when you have cultivated, generated interest that you have developed interest in the music. At the same time, your subject is there. So it's your smartness, how you are relating. So, and today in this contemporary age, the situation and what we call it, the problems are multifarious one at a time. Only as a biotechnologist, you are not going to provide the possible solution. You need to take the help from the other discipline, other experts, other of your colleagues. So this is taking this view into the mind. Now, even in this national education policy, it is clearly said that, do you know what is said that by 2035, every institution needs to be multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary. You cannot rely on your own subject. I cannot rely only on my own subject. So here, umbrella kind of situation approach has emerged. So here, we need to understand everything, every subject, many subjects. I think someone asked me that, uh, I think before that, I took one class. I had one class, and then there was a question that one subject, is good enough in the sense that communication. Take the example of language. If I know one language, do you think that that language is good enough for me to interact? I think in today's world, I think at least one should know, at least one must be bilingual. This is the minimum requirement. Because in this contemporary age, at least you know at least one or two or three languages. Then you can move around anywhere. Take the example of your own regional language, national language, and one at least international language. You cannot deny this fact there's an international language. If you know, I think English has emerged as an international language or the global language or the world language. So with the help of English, you can move around anywhere, any part of the world. At least you won't find any difficulty. Within the country, if you know Hindi, I think there won't be any problem. You can interact, you can communicate. And of course, with your own area, I think you must know, and everybody knows his or her own regional or the mother tongue, what we call it. So here, this is again my own perception that at least three languages we as a teacher must know. Then we will be able to address the students more effectively. And learning language has become very easier today. I think a lot of media, a lot of I think platforms have been created. Over there we can learn, and you all are learning. This is just I am sharing with you that. So here, in the same way, only becoming the very specificity is important, but at the same time, generalistic approach is also very important. So combining together, as we are saying that some would say that online is good. Somebody would say face-to-face is face-to-face. The offline kind of teaching is good. So what I will say, if you blend together, I think it will bring wonders. Suppose if you are holding some sort of seminar conferences and you are going to follow the hybrid mode, I think it will become cost effective. It will also become meaningful, because if you wish to rope in some people who are sitting in the United States of America or Japan, and your academic institution. So both, if you blend together online with the offline, I think it will bring wonder. So is the case with that one. We knowing the subject of our own subject deeply or intensively is important, but extensive knowledge is also important beyond our own subject, beyond our own discipline. So this is what I wish to say to you. For getting the job, for getting the employment, of course, knowing the subject is important. But as a good personality, I think it's very important to know something beyond our own subject also.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I have tried my level best to come to your expectation. Now it's your responsibility. It's your opinion that to what extent I have served your purpose, but I have tried my level best and I have learned a great deal from all of you. Thank you once again. So all my colleagues, so I address all of you as a colleague because we all are working for ensuring quality, for teaching the students, for young minds, for making a better India, for progressive India, for modern India, for inclusive India.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful and insightful and inspireful session.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Was
much.
this,
It's my proud privilege to become the part of this great event.
so on behalf
Many
of
scholars have joined.
Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Garge Baba, Amravati University, I extend my heartfelt gratitude and sincere thanks to Professor Ali Sur sir for being with us, enlighten us and inspire us towards work collaboratively in the society and towards work towards the development of the society and our great nation. And really, sir, it's our responsibility, being a teacher, being a stakeholders of this higher education. We are really contribute. We are definitely contribute to our society, and definitely in upcoming era, it will its reflection will be definitely seen on our society and in its socio-economic development and nation building. So I am once again thankful to you, sir, for being with us. And in spite of your busy schedule, you have shared your precious time here. I am also thankful to all the participants for their active participation. And with the kind consent of Professor Anisu sir, I would like to declare that this session will be over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. We will meet tomorrow with our regular schedule.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. I wish you
Thank
all
you.
the very best for your first.